pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the All-American Racing League Round 10 here at Kentucky. My name is James Riles, filling in for Mr. Clifford as well in the booth. I got with me Mr. Matt. Matt, are we excited to be at the Legacy Kentucky today?
Hey, it's Tuesday night. It's prime time. It's AARL. It's Kentucky. We're back to the 1.5 mile side of things. Of course, I am fired up and ready to go. And I know everyone that's got it dialed in on the SRM YouTube channel. That stands for them as well. To answer your question, absolutely. We got a hot one in store for these guys and girls tonight as these boys and girls get ready to tear this 1.5 oval up here right in the heart of Kentucky.
Absolutely, as I know it's going to be a blast. We already have some drivers have their times in right now, qualifying underway for this race at Kentucky. Now, Matt, can you tell us a little bit about, or I'll let you get the specifics, laps and whatnot, while I go over some of this information on screen here. Kentucky is a 1.46 mile over, so in that intermediate, we are in the next gen cup cars, or the current gens, I guess you can call them, as we are the weather. It's absolutely gorgeous, 70 degrees here in Kentucky with a track temperature of 101 degrees. So not too terribly hot on those tires, but they're not, that sun definitely not doing you any favors as these drivers making it around. So tell us, Matt, what can you tell us about the length, some of the race details we're going to have today?
Race details, well, qualifying, we're going to go 5 minutes, 2 laps. The best lap's going to stand, which we're currently in right now. Louis Clark making his return, this time in the 73 car. And James, every time this man comes to the racetrack here in the AARL Cup Series, he almost shows up in a different vehicle. Doesn't matter because it either puts it in victory lane or puts on a clinic out there on the racetrack. So watch that 73. Oh, and by the way, he's currently on the leaderboard as we speak right now. Getting back to the race length details, we're going to go 134 laps around this 1.5 mile oval right here in Kentucky. And like you said, 70 degrees is the ambient temp, but these drivers cannot let that track temp of just over the century mark of 101 degrees get away from them. You drive that car a little too hard too soon, you'll pay for it in the long run. So some of the things these drivers need to watch out for this evening here in prime time.
Absolutely. And as always, we are very happy to have you guys with us today. And we just want to appreciate you guys, the fans, everybody watching. If you're watching this live, go ahead, comment who you're trying to watch. Be sure to hit that like button, all that stuff. We will be sure and give those people a little bit extra screen time as we move forward. That's kind of what we do here, especially if things get a little drawn out. But I have heard they're not going to do that here at AARL. They will race till the end, no matter how many drivers they got in here. So first things first, be sure to share this out to your friends, your buddies that want to watch the race with you, have an experience. Hit that like button and pat yourselves on the back because you guys are doing a service to the iRacing industry coming in here watching this. And if you're not watching live, hey, that's okay too. Talking to you from the past here, and I can tell you you're going to do great. You're gonna kill the day. How about that? As we see Cameron Harris currently waiting to get down. Only 30 seconds left. What can you tell me from some of these drivers up top of the leaderboard there, Matt?
Well, like I was saying about Louis Clark before, across the pond, every time this man makes an appearance in this series, he seems to be in a different car, different manufacturer, but that never seems to phase Louis Clark in this series. He just about wins every time he's in it, so watch that 73 car. In second position tonight, having a great qualifying run. That is Kyle, a.k.a. the Purifier Purcell. This man will bankrupt you out on the racetrack, makes a fortune on other drivers' ill-advised moves or mistakes on the racetrack. Just watching him slice and dice off of the miscues out there is absolutely stunning. So watch that 10 machine. Justin Horton, fast driver all around, executes very well out there on the racetrack. He's in the 67 starting third. Patrick, a.k.a. Lightning McQuaid, in the 77, has multiple wins on the season. I know he's looking for a strong run here at Kentucky, so keep your eye on that 77 as well. As we go back, the first Ford in the field in fifth position, Peter Terrio, former past champion of the series, That's a veteran race car driver, has that veteran mindset, knows how to keep his equipment out of trouble, and is always around there at the end. That's your top 5. Evan Clapper in that 57 machine, another Chevrolet, starting in 6th position tonight. Evan Clapper, he's a newcomer to the series, but he certainly doesn't race like a rookie out there. Veteran-like moves, great instinctive driver out there on the racetrack. That's in 6th. 7th, Lilith Peters. Let me tell you something. This lady here, she is a win machine out there on the racetrack. Multiple wins this series. In fact, multiple wins across multiple leagues so far through the season. That one car so strong, so stout, especially on the long run. Lilith Peters is certainly a force to be reckoned with here in the AARL Cup Series. In 8th tonight, that's Larry Garnes. In 9th, that's going to be the Chevrolet of Jeremy Flanagan. In 10th, starting into the top 10 tonight, that is David Hillbilly Hara. Look for him to have a strong run tonight as well. He's been solid on these 1.5-mile ovals. In 11th, the other Purcell, the older brother, that's the 00 of Sean Purcell. In 12th, David Larfano. He's going to be in that Chevrolet ZL1 Camaro. In 13th, back to the TRD side of things, that's going to be the 5 of Rodney Uberpachter. In 14th, starting in the 7, that's going to be Travis Juggles Rodriguez. In 15th, that's going to be the one and only Cameron Harris. 16th, Nathan Christensen. And rounding out your 17 drivers tonight, starting from the rear, that's going to be the 17 of Adam Angerstein.
Yeah, good rundown there of that while I was in the background. We have got a couple of people on Twitch I'm going to focus on later on in the run, so definitely stick around for that. But right now, Louis Clark up there up front. We're going to give you the grid real quick before we go up. We're just going to show it to you since Matt did such a great job running through telling you just about everybody there. As there we go, grid is up. You can find your driver, send them a good luck and well wishes because it matters. They see it, it makes them drive faster, I promise.
It absolutely does, as we are now rolling at pace speed, of course. You can see that iRacing.com pace car is out leading the field, but it's pulling off the racing surface, which means we're about to turn and burn here as Louis Clark's going to bring him down, looking for that Geico restart zone. Just about any second now. There we go. Green flag in the air coming up through the gearbox as those bald eagles under the hood start roaring to life. Louis Clark with a great restart. He's going to lead the charge going down into 1 with Sean Purcell leading the high side. As we go on board, looking out the back, Louis Clark. Look already how these cars start to fan out, James.
Absolutely. I mean, you said it, these cars starting to fan out. Kentucky, one of those high banking ovals. Not necessarily high banking, but it's wide. You've got so many lanes. They can save you, or you can get up there. But definitely a lot of real estate that these drivers are fighting for. However, as any racer here knows, there's only one line that matters, and that's the fast line. And here at this abrasive track, that's going to be right there at the bottom. So all the drivers trying to fight for that real estate is 3 wide here as Patrick McQuaid comes back.
Yeah, 3 wide, just like you said. That was Patrick McQuaid, the one of Lilith Peters, Evan Clapper. But like you said, this track is like the Pontiac slogan from back in the 90s. Wider is better. And because you have all of that width across, you can go 3 wide, sometimes even 4 wide at this racetrack. But early on, probably not what you want to do, is you see these drivers kind of get it all settled out. Still 2 wide, a little further on back going through the field. You can see the Lilith Peters just ahead of the 67 of Justin Horton. And on the inside making the charge, that is Evan Clapper in that 57 machine. He's going to fall back in line, though.
Absolutely. And you said it. Like, I mean, we're going to be going back and forth here because we think alike. But it's just so much room. And it doesn't make it faster. It really doesn't. It just makes it more... Your mistakes are going to be padded a little bit because you can go up in that high line. People can really get around you. The only other race I can think that's like this, of course, the old Atlanta before they repaved it, made it a lot smaller. Not Richmond, which is there's a couple other racetracks you'll see throughout the Cup that they run in a similar fashion to this, and it definitely rewards different lines, but you'll see that you don't want to be caught in the middle. You want to go where it's worn out, right below that grip line that people are seeing. That's really going to give you the run, because with this wide of exit, you can get on it as much as you want to.
Well, the other great part is, too, this track kind of resembling Fontana or Auto Club Speedway in the fact of, relation to how wide this is. As a race car driver, if you don't like where your car is working on the racetrack, you can kind of search around, use the top, the bottom, the middle, to figure out where your car is going to run the best. And that's going to really magnify the racing action here at Kentucky Speedway. Look for some great 2-3 wide battles, especially later on in the run as these tires start to fall off a little bit. But back up to the front, it is Louis Clark carrying the torch in that 73 machine, out to about a half-second lead over the 10 of Kyle Purcell. He's still in second. The first two have not changed any spot since the start of the green flag. You got to go back to third. Peter Theriault on the move, the former champ in that 28. He is currently up to holding on to that third place position.
Yeah, and then farther back, Patrick McQuaid, he's been falling back. -7 positions or 6, depending on where you are in the turn, to Travis Juggles Rodriguez. But having a hard time finding a line. That's another bad thing about this track and how open it is. You got to be dialed in, and you got to know what you're going to do.
Oh!
There. Just see how easy. He's not going to miss a second. Travis
no, he's
Juggles
not going to.
Gets loose and doesn't, misses a little bit, but it's not a death sentence because he has so much room to save it.
Yeah, but I guarantee you his heart probably skipped for a second as that came off guard. But like you said, plenty of racetrack. These drivers just so good as he slides up in front of McQuaid in that 77. Very odd to see McQuaid drop 7 spots off the rip like that. Don't know if there was a problem on the racetrack that we missed, but certainly McQuaid putting himself in a little bit of a hole as he's outside the top 10, currently occupying that 11th place position.
Absolutely, but that's where we are right now in the racing, folks. Lilith Peters trying to follow Peter Theriault up to the front, and Lewis he's not as far off as you would think. If you can see up in the ticker there, 2-second gap from 5th, but there's definitely room to work. You can kind of sniff a little bit of that draft if these guys work together. It's not gonna be super speedway draft, but at these intermediates we have seen that drivers can kind of work together as long as they're not battling. But right as I say that, Lewis Clark just put down the fastest lap of the race here on lap 10. So you just tell me when that fall off's gonna happen, because that is wild.
Yeah, that is wild. At a 32 flat, that is ripping around here. And Kyle Purcell not far off at a 32.09, so just a tick slower in that 10 machine. So clearly these drivers still finding the most optimized line around that racetrack that benefits their race car. You mentioned about the draft coming into effect. The other thing that can come into effect too is if you're battling too, and especially 3 wide, that can deploy the air brakes on these race cars and certainly slow you down. Then obviously given the advantage to the car in front of all that battling. So you got to be wary of that as well, as these drivers don't want to find themselves battling too long side by side. That'll let the person ahead of you walk away, and will let the pack, if there isn't back of you, come towards you as well, as Louis Clark continues to turn quick laps here around this racetrack. Man, he is starting to get that gap is increasing now, just over 1 second off the 10 of Purcell. Peter Theriault still running in third, up to 4th, up 3 spots. That's the 1 of Lilith Peters. And look at Evan Clapper having a strong run here in the early going, up 1 spot inside the top 5. And we might as well go 1 more back to that 15 machine. He is the man in charge here in the AARL Blue Plastic Series. That is David Hillbilly Hara. He's up 4 spots, up to 6th. So that 15 is quick in the early going as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about the 67 back there, Justin Horton. Let's get a good idea of what's going on inside the car. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of action here once I get all this stuff out of the way. There we go. Going to go in the car for the number 67 of Justin over on Twitch. Right after, you know what, let's do it. Give me one moment.
Yeah, James is getting set. That all set and queued up. I'll take over here. Just let you guys know what we're seeing on the racetrack right now. That 67 continues to run about 2 to 2.5 car lengths back of Lilith Peters as she's putting the business all over the front of the 15 of David Hillbilly Hera, working the outside about a half groove up to where that 15 is running. She's getting a really good run. You know, the apex of the corner off that little bit of a higher arc there. Look for her to get a run going down the backstretch here. Oh, she closes right up on the back of David Hillbilly Hera in that 15. Doesn't have enough momentum yet, but she currently continues to run that line. David starts driving up in the mirror a little more. Oh, he bobbles there. That should give the advantage there to Lilith in the form of that energy as we drag race across the start-finish line. Lilith now has the preferred line, has the position. Is she able to clear down into the corner? She is. As David puts on a strong charge, digging down low. Not going to be able to hold, has to lift a little bit, give a spot to Lilith Peters in that up to 5th spot.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this, what we got going on here. I'm excited about it, to be able to bring you this full screen transformation. We're going to put it, let me fix this. There we go. So there, see, in the car, of course it's not great. Louise. Amateur night here in Sim Racing Media. There you go. You can see kind of in the car on the bottom left the view of what they're seeing as they're going through this track. This is on board with Justin Horton there. And it's cool to see kind of what the racers are seeing. That's the inputs he has around there, to kind of give them as much information as possible, because you got to do what you got to do here in the sim, but just so much real estate you can see from that point of view, and just the determination of that driver over there at Suck My Crocs is his Twitch, but definitely interesting to see that PIP and there, so we appreciate it. Oh, he may have got bumped from the back.
Yeah, it looked like the 67 there got into the back of the 15 just a little bit of David Hera. But deploying some new developmental technology here on SRM. James, you said amateur night. I don't know anyone else that even thinks to do that on the live broadcast. Certainly, I know you can refine it and make it better. Giving all you guys a first-class look on the future of SRM broadcasting here. Right is in the middle of AARL, being able to pull dynamic streams in real time to give you guys other perspectives up inside the race car, just how it looks out there on the racetrack from various points of view throughout the course of this race. As we see the 77, again, Patrick McQuaid, who's still back 7 spots, mired outside the top 10, down 7. He's the biggest loser so far, and we typically don't say that very often, as he's working on the back of that 00 machine. That's going to be the other Purcell, Sean Purcell. McQuaid going to get a run, going to look to the inside. He's going to rotate the bottom. But can he pick up the loud pedal with that 00 being up there? I'm telling you, when these cars get side by side, it acts like an air brake in some cases. Just wasn't able to make the pass. And because he didn't have the run, that's going to allow the 27 there of Cameron Harris to look down the inside now. Patrick McQuaid, he's rocking the bottom, coming up strong. Oh, look at this, 3 wide. Here we go, just like James said, this crack. Well, Lily was going to go 3 wide there for a minute. Perhaps the 27 thought better about it, as the 77 and 00 are still door to door.
Absolutely working on it. Up front, Lilith Peters is about to get crossed over by, or I think she actually is taking that position away. But they're battling regardless here, up 3 positions. Just kind of keeps plugging them away, getting to them, ruining them, and getting gone. But it looks like, as far as time, we're already at about a half second, or a third of a second gap from where these guys and gals were on fresh tires. So look for that to play a huge factor. But man, we're just gonna go look at this race back here, because they are racing. They're not racing hard in a disrespectful way, but they are absolutely trying to figure out who's going to be 11th through 14th here to get track position if we have any stage breaks or any cautions.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, James. The 00 Purcell, the 27, Cameron Harris. You can pitch a 10 over these guys for, like you said, 11th place on back. Look how close the racing is. As the 00 washes up the racetrack, you see a little bit of a wiggle there on the race car. That's going to bring the 9 of Adam Angerstein, or Jeremy Flanagan, I'm sorry, into the picture, as well as the 70, as well as the 20, I'm sorry, the 20 of Larry Garnes, and the 9 of Adam Angerstein. As they continue to battle side by side, you can see the 9 there continuing to close. That's Lorfano working the bottom in that Chevrolet Camaro. This pack is putting on a show right now. Up front, you're not missing anything. Is Louis Clark out to a big lead in front, almost 10 seconds. We're going to bring you the action, and this is where it is right on the racetrack. Is no one wants to give up those positions just outside the top 10. But right now, the 00 of Sean Purcell, he's going to claim it here for the short term, as I think he's going to feel some pressure here from the 27 of Harris. He's not done yet. Looking down low, Eaton on the inside. Going to try to pull alongside him down the backstretch. Doesn't have the momentum. Is he going to look topside? Is he going to be content right where he is? He's going to fall in line, just working about a half car length up from the back of Sean Purcell. Going to try and get a little draft here going down the front stretch. You see him go down to the inside here. Just doesn't seem to have the momentum quite yet to pull up and contest for that 11th place position, but he sure as heck working on it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're going to see as Little Peter's going to take another one down, passing Elvin Clapper. What you're going to see, let's take a look at how it should be done here on board as we replay with the 1. Just gets to that bottom on the inside. And that's what it's going to be. You got to wait for somebody to get to the outside and give you a window, and then you got to take that opportunity. And she's only half a second behind Kyle Purcell right now. So another driver that she's going to try and get in that draft and get up there and cause some disturbance here in the top 2 for the first time all race.
Yeah, and this is kind of what Lilith Peter does, especially as the run goes on. Just so good managing that race car, knows how to take care of the tires and maximizes performance. And you're seeing that right now, just like you said, James. She went ahead and clicked off another one there as she's now starting to close in onto the back at that 10 of Kyle Purcell.
Go back to this battle for 11, still hot and heavy. Oh,
Oh,
almost too
hello.
hot and heavy. Oh my gosh. Tires wearing out. The tires 100% wearing out. They're losing that right rear. Look at this go on the gyro and see just how banked this is. The whole track's banked, but it's not enough to really cover you as much as you think it is, honestly. So that right rear is getting very hot right now, and it's going to be a problem. But as I appreciate everybody in the chat again. Let us know. Go 77. A couple of shout outs for Patrick McQuaid, who has actually stopped the bleeding. He's only down 4 positions right now. He's kind of saved himself while we weren't looking. Passing Juggles for 8th. Let's take a look at that on lap 27.
Yeah, here he is. You see McQuaid working the inside of the racetrack. The 7 to the top. Oh, they touch. They high five. That's going to roll the 7 up. That's going to give 77 the advantage and the line. He slides up in front of 7 car off of corner exit, be able to carry that momentum all the way down the front stretch. And that's Patrick McQuaid now back on the move. Seems to have that car sorted out or things back in check as he fell off early, really far back. And I said, not very indicative of what we typically see from that 77 here in the AARL Cup Series. But back going in the right direction, 77 on the move, now up into the top 10. He's occupying that 8th position.
They go back up front. Is that Evan?
It's Evan Clapper.
It is pronounced Evan, not Evine or anything?
It's Evan, I promise.
Okay, all right. So Evan Clapper there in that 57 defending against Peter as he is trying to... Peter's been up and down a little bit now with everything equalizing. We are already up to a 2nd for some of these drivers on their fall off. So That being said, Lewis Clark is he's maybe doing the best. Lilith Peters has actually got a couple tenths on him as far as last track time. Let's go ahead and take a look at that, at the time delta here for these two drivers and kind of the difference that it's making. Let's move the sponsors. I'm sorry, sponsors, gonna have to move you up there. The gap is increasing, but overall, the lap times, Lilith has Jason a little bit back and forth here overall.
Yeah, the lap times are just about being mirrored. That last time by was a 32.85 to Clark and a 32.83 to Peters. So they're just about mirroring each other's lap time out there on the racetrack. The biggest difference is Lilith has had to come from further back in the field. Lewis has been on point, carrying the torch since the drop of the green flag. So he hasn't really been involved battling anybody, which is helping to preserve those Goodyear Eagles on that race car. And he's enjoying that gap right now, that interval between himself and Lilith Peters. But I guarantee you, as this run continues to progress, last time by, only a tenth separated, James, a 32.76 to a 32.77. I mean, that's as close as you can possibly get. So the two fastest cars currently at the front of the field right now.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? These two fastest cars. But some of these other drivers, if you can make up a second a lap here, first of all, are we going to have any stage breaks in AARL?
We're not going to have any stage breaks here in this series. We're going to run it green flag here. Cautions, of course, that will re-rack and restack. Green flag pit stops should be coming if we stay green, and I assume we will, as these guys are known for putting on great side-by-side, close quarters action. They bump, they touch, but they seldomly wreck.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, again, another thing about these big racetracks. I don't think we could go the whole race without seeing a caution. I'm going to say the Q word. It's been pretty quiet. That's because I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care if there's 40 cautions or not. That's just more replays for me as they see. But they're going to have a lot of opportunity to spread it out, right? So as well with the times that people are spread out right now, some of these gaps looking like 17 seconds from the last car on the track to the top of Lewis Clark there. They're not going to be in the way, especially if the guys that are really racy back here, Travis Rodriguez, Adam Angerstein, and Cameron Harris, those guys are the ones who could cause something. But then if they get bent out of shape and go into that infield, if there's not a car coming, iRacing's not going to throw that flag. So live admin might, but it's going to depend. As we take a look right now at, as I'm watching the Suck My Crocs, I just love it. It's spelled exactly how it sounds, all one word, Crocs as in the shoes. The estimated laps remaining there are 8.4 on the, who was that?
That's 67 of Justin Horton, I believe.
Yes, the 67 of Justin Horton right now. So the time is there. He's actually catching Kyle Purcell. David Hare going to be the first to come down pit road. I mean, if you're that far back, you might as well try. But
yeah, great move.
So
Didn't mean to cut you off there, bud.
No, you're good. Yeah, they're doing a little bit of strategery talk here, as it looks like I think they're going to be coming down in the next couple laps for sure.
Yeah, especially judging by what the 67 had left in the tank. So we're getting down to it. The 15 there making a good strategery call there, like you were saying there. Going to come down, get those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on that race car. Oh, is he still sitting on pit road?
I think David might have called it.
I didn't see any damage on that race car. Maybe sometimes duty calls. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Now we're getting back at it. So a very extended stop there on the racetrack. That's probably going to cost the 15 multiple laps, I would assume. As we go back to the up towards the front here, getting back heat up on the the car of Lilith Peters in that one machine, up 5 spots, second biggest mover of the race, running in that second position solidly right now. As you have almost 4 seconds ahead of her is Louis Clark, and just about 3 seconds in back of her is now Justin Horton, as he's battling Kyle Purcell for third.
He's going to get by with that third position, still battling right now. We're seeing kind of that short track mentality of, hey, just let him go, get behind him, because you don't want to be battling on the outside, wear out these tires even more. But a couple drivers to watch here. David Lorfano came in as well with that group. 14-second stop there, so a little bit quicker. He's currently running, we'll see once he gets back here, at 32.24. So just about, he'll be a little faster once this next lap comes through. But right now he's half a second faster than Lewis Clark, and every lap that goes down is going to add to that gap that they're going to have there.
Yeah, that's well said, James.
As in comes Lilith.
Yeah, coming on pit road, that's the one machine. Lilith Peters, just like James said, got it low down at the commitment cone. Now she's going to crawl down pit road. 77 of Patrick McWade, a.k.a. Lightning, is going to follow. And I imagine now everyone, wholesale pit stop should be just on the horizon, as Lilith has her box in sight. Going to get it slowed down, all 4 tires inside. Go to work, 4 tires, a couple cans of Sunoco Racing Fuel, and here comes your leader as well. A little bit of tire smoke there. Louis Clark, your leader on pit road.
Yeah, everybody not wanting to be stuck on old tires for very long with a second gap. You got to be careful, but Peter's going to take advantage, stay out. Sean Purcell, Angerseen, and the like. And this is something you're going to have to watch. Once these drivers that are a little bit farther back come into pit road, they're more likely to make mistakes. They're more likely to, I don't know, maybe cause something coming in, as the 28's going to be coming down this time by. So how late are they going to stay out there and hope for something?
James, you're a mind reader, because sometimes that does happen in this series, further in the back, when you really have to emphasize squeezing everything you can out of your pit road entrance. We've seen miscues, sliding off, mowing the grass throughout the infield there. You're absolutely right. That can happen. As we see the 67 there, Justin Horton. Suck my Crocs on board, I believe you said it was, on his in-car camera. Showing you guys some new developmental technology here on SRM. Lilith coming back up to pace, so is the 67 of Horton. I believe up front now, that's going to cycle the lead to the 20, up 7 spots. That's Larry Garnes leading the way right now. Now, James, he hasn't pit yet, either has the 9 of Adam Angerstein. So once they pull off and receive service on their race cars, that should cycle back to Louis Clark being the leader once the 20 and the 9 do come in.
Yeah, absolutely. The 9 just came down pit road. The 20, if I'm him, I'm going to stay out. At this point, you might as well stay out until there's no gas left in it. You're pretty far behind on the strategy.
Here he comes.
Yeah, you can't stay out any longer for sure. But Lewis Clark going to come down pit road, but Lilith Peters just put down her fastest lap of the race. So now unabated, but did not get really an advantage because Lewis, not really sure why, the time down pit road, Lilith was faster, but unable to make that time back up on exit and entry there. So that's going to cost her, still at 4-second gap right there for first and second.
Yeah, that's virtually right where they left off before that cycle of green flag pit stops. But either way, they're still enjoying a sizable lead right now, that comfort zone. Back to the 3rd place position. That's going to be Justin Horton there.
Lilith just put down the fastest lap of the race.
Oh, wow, at 31. First driver of the season to break into that 31-second bracket. James, you called it again, 31.92. Look at this battle here, the 10 of Kyle Purcell. There's David Lorfano working the top side of the racetrack. Kyle thought about coming up and clear, but the 8 had the run off the top. That's going to put him side by side, drag racing down into turn 1. Lorfano still rocking the high side. The 10 eating down low on the inside. The 10's going to clear. What a power move there by the Purifile, Kyle Purcell. Now up back to 4th position here on the racetrack. Slid down just a couple from where he started, but still solid run for the 10, as we're already, James, 49 laps through this one.
Yeah, just rolled over to 50. Is now, if you break that up, let's get the calculator out and figure out what you need to make it a 2-stopper, etc. So 134 divided by what lap did these guys come in? 44.
44.
Look, oh, that makes it right at 3 stops. So they're going to need 2 more stops here to. Actually, that's 1 more. Yeah, 1 more stop, and they're barely going to make it. Barely going to make it. Oof.
I wonder if they took that into consideration when they set the distance for this race. Now, the one thing that can change everything here, especially if it happens right, is that C word, a caution flag. We haven't seen one yet, as we see now the 10 going to work on the back as 67 of Justin Horton. That's for 3rd place right there. Justin has it. Kyle Purcell wants it. Look at him dialing it up, the pressure, working off the back of that race car. There we go, going on board there with Justin Horton, looking out the back. Kyle peeking to the outside again, knows he can get a big run up there, especially when you come down that hill. Look for the momentum from the 10. Oh, he slips up a little bit, but he's still closing in. Starting to feel it come in, getting pulled in there. A little effectively a draft here at this 1.5-mile oval. Not the full extent of what you would see at a super speedway or at the Hybrid Atlanta, but still it does work to a certain degree as the 10 continues to close in, the closer, putting some pressure on the back of Justin Horton, trying to get him to make a mistake.
Absolutely, another driver trying to get some mistakes dialed up. Here's Evan Clapper. Him and Peter have kind of fallen back, but Cameron Harris, he was one of the first ones to come in, lap 39. So he's got, those tires are about to lay loose, but right now a little bit slight advantage. He's made his way up to Peter Throw and Evan Clapper, so he can kind of relax. Those tires do like the draft, believe it or not, so it doesn't have to work quite as hard there. As Kyle Purcell still, Kyle Purcell's passed him. Let's take a look at that pass happened on lap 53.
Yeah, he accomplished the business side of the things there, got the position. You see, he gets the run, works down to the inside, going to have the preferred line going into turn 3 here, and just able to get that car to rotate better than the 67. Probably going to slide up the racetrack there, take the 67's line away, and he's going to have to watch the run, and well done, well executed there by the 10 of Kyle Purcell. You know, I want to go back, James, to see if you notice this out on the racetrack. If you look at the 57 of Evan Clapper, he's a prankster. He's got the Clapper as the sponsor on the race car.
Absolutely, I saw that. It's the Clapper. You know what? If you're gonna put something on a race car, it might as well be fun, right? Something you want to look at.
Yeah, that's not the first I've seen that on this car this year, but I love it. I think it's great when you see the Clapper and, you know, your last name's Clapper. It all works. You know, it's fun stuff. Good times up here in the booth. Those small things that we pick up over the course of the broadcast. Having a good run, too. Inside the top 10, currently in 7th position. Solid run for the newcomer here in the series this year. The 57, Evan Clapper, having a great night so far here in the early stages. Well, not that we're super early. We're not to lap 100 either, but thus far, nonetheless, having a solid run in the 57 machine. Cameron Harris in 8th spot, now up 8 positions. Biggest mover of the race. There is a car that was further on back than I initially anticipated. That 27 is he's battling there with the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. They often find themselves together on the racetrack, how they kind of are right now. That's going to be for 8th and 9th respectively. But Cameron Harris on the move, up 8 spots. Did you see him watch him here? He goes back across the start-finish line once again. And you watch that Patrick McQuaid car, that 77 ZL1 Camaro, doing everything he can to find the most optimized line for that race car to continue to try and run down that silver bullet just in front of him. He's rebounded a little bit well inside the top 10, but typically not up there in the top 3 where we normally see that race car. But he still has a long time to figure it out. Go back towards the front once again, Peter Theriault. Going back to that 20.
Exciting there, Matt. It's bouncing around on me. Do apologize. Our camera crew needs to figure it out. They don't know what's exciting and what's not. But up front, Kyle Purcell. I tell you what, Lilith Peters and Louis Clark. First of all, Louis right now got a 5-second gap on second, so that's just widening. He's just getting into that car, but he is pushing and pushing hard. So it's gonna come down to a fuel race, and right now the best person in the best position, believe it or not, is 22 seconds back, and that's Larry Garnes, the last driver that came in, stretched it out to lap 47. Based on my math, he's the only one that can make it straight up running 47 laps apiece. Everybody else is robbing themselves of a couple laps every time, and it's going to come into play here if this thing goes any longer. Let's take a look at Lorfano working his way through the field there.
Yeah, Lorfano now up to 7th position. Hello, I see it in that 8 machine. He's trying to dial up some pressure on the back of Evan Clapper in the 57. But great driving here by that 8 machine of David Lorfano. I believe he also pitted a little later in the game.
Early. 32.
Oh, he was early. I'm sorry, early in the game there.
He was one of the earliest ones down, which is interesting. That's how that strategy plays out. You're not going to get those top drivers, but you can definitely snipe some positions from some folks if you come in 4 or 5 laps earlier than the folks you're racing, which, you know, is that mid-pack guys. And, you know, track position, right? He's made it this far up there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I slipped and I looked at Cameron Harris's pit stop. He came in on lap 39. But speaking of Cameron Harris, there he is. He wants the spot, working the bottom, kicks the 8 of Lorfano to the top, reeling in Patrick McQuaid as well. This could be a twofer here, as Lorfano could lose 2 spots as Harris looks to pull McQuaid with him. They both get by. Sometimes when you open that door, James, one car you think is going to get by, and someone else is going to follow right through, and that's exactly what McQuaid did. Great timing there, as suddenly Lorfano now finds himself back in the 9th position.
Yeah, there, you know, that's the downside of it. Now he's got 32 laps on his tires. He's going to have to continue making that short pit, maybe going on a 4-pit strategy here. It's very possible that he can make that happen. We'll see how it works. Is Patrick McQuaid now going to get by Cameron Harris? Up front, I think we're about to start running into some lap traffic.
Yeah, we can start to see some of those race cars way out in front, already coming through there. Looks like coming out the backside there at turn 4 already. But certainly, if he keeps this pace up, we'll be getting into lap traffic, and that will change everything. How does Louis Clark manage the lap traffic? Where does he catch him on the racetrack? You would certainly think that's going to allow Lilith Peters to close in, especially as they've almost been running the same lap times, lap after lap. It's been very close, down to 100th of a second, as the 73 still continues to lead, enjoying now over a 6-second interval to second place of Lilith Peters, and she has an interval back to Kyle Purcell of over 5 seconds on the racetrack. So we're really spread out here between the top 3 right now.
Absolutely. And speaking of Lorfano, he's coming in on that strategy. He's going to make it a 4-stop event. We'll see if Brains can win out here, as he's right now in the same. He's the only one on this strategy, but we'll see here, as Lewis Clark going to have to. You know, you talk about worrying about lap traffic. He's got about 8,000 feet from the wall to the yellow to try and make it happen for getting past lap traffic. But hopefully, I don't think he's going to have a problem with his times right now. His times are just astronomically. They're so much higher than his peers, and he's even saving a little bit right now, I can tell, but it's still a 1.5 seconds. Is Lilith going to try and come down again a little bit early? Because right now it's almost exactly 3 stops from 45 laps. So It's
Yeah,
just such a hard decision to make here.
it is such a hard decision, but you were right. If the undercut is successful, if Lilith Peters is able to sneak in pit road without the 73 being aware, is able to capitalize for a couple laps on those fresher tires, that would certainly mow into the difference. Or does this Mr. Stretch play have the winning hand? And that's going back to the 20 of Larry Garnes, who pitted on lap 47. So is it the short game, the norm game, or the long game that gets it done here in Kentucky? We're going to find out. But again, you do have that game changer, the wild card. Do we see that caution flag? Because then everything we're talking about now, James, pretty much gets crumpled and thrown out the window. Is that'll re-rack and restack the field if it does happen.
Absolutely. As I take a look, 134 minus 86. These guys aren't gonna make it. They are not gonna make it on one stop unless they're very, very careful. And that's why Lilith Peters, if she's gonna come down pit road and try and take that lead, she has to transition to that 2-stop. She has to, and that's where, you come in, you take tires, you fill it up, and you go. And then maybe 10 laps down the line, if you can get a wide enough gap here, but you've got to jump out on Clark by 7 laps to even make a difference because of that gap. You account for about a second gap on these drivers, their best to their last, and right now it's not even that for the top. I just don't think the short pit's there. It's if she can save, that's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah, with that type of an interval, it almost has to go with option 2 there, as you kind of described it, James. Or is she able to go stealth mode and sneak onto pit road? But with such a heads-up driver as Louis Clark has that great situational awareness, be hard to fathom that he would miss that out there on the racetrack. But
for
still,
7 laps, he would have to do it for
that's
7
asking a
laps
lot.
right now. He'd have to be like, oh, I don't know what's going on behind me, and even then, that's going to put him his pit window, anyways, and it's going to put her. No matter what, if you're Lewis Clark, just keep up with your strategy, get out ahead. In fact, if I was up front, which I will never be that far up front, I would start saving, maybe holding back a little bit, because we know that these guys are going to make it a fuel. We just know it. There's no way that these guys can, that came in. Lilith Peters kind of set the deck and came in on lap 43, and you need to stay at least until lap 46 to stay consistent. So we'll see if they can save a couple laps, see what the crew chiefs are telling them. I think we're going to start seeing that. But we're going to go to side-by-side here before the pit stops start, and we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. right, as we take a look at Adam Angerstein in the 9 machine, a little bit of bobble going there, but Matt, me and you were talking along the break about what these drivers are going to have to do to make it last till the end. And the math is there that Lewis Clark really needs to be conserving, and Lilith Peters might be conserving now.
Well, Louis Clark may have got the memo while we were on break because he has substantially slowed down now to a 32.83. Lilith Peters, a 32.60. So, like we were talking during the break, like you said, Lilith Peters, we feel that she's been saving now for a little bit out there on the racetrack. Louis Clark was substantially quicker there. It seemed for about 10 laps or so, but now Clark has started to back it down, it seems. Last time by, again, 32.79. Lilith Peters, a 32.62. So this is going to turn into a fuel sipper here near the end of this one if we don't have that dreaded caution flag. Now, we were doing the math once again. We feel everyone that's pitted lap 45 or later could potentially make it in the long game strategy. So that's going to bring in, obviously, the 20 of Larry Garnes and that 20 car who pitted on lap 47. Pitting on lap 46, the 9 of Adam Angerstein. And pitting on lap 45, I believe, the only other car that pit on lap 45, and that's going to be the 00 of Sean Purcell.
Yeah, Juggles did as well. Sean Purcell. Yeah, those two.
Pitted on lap 45.
And Peter. Yeah, those are that 45 is right there. That's literally a third of the race. So if you're Lewis Clark, you got to save 1 lap, just about. So they've got to make it to 90 to make it the rest on a tank of 89 or 90. It's just gonna be hard to get there. As we take a look, let's go ahead and pull up our famous friend over here on Facebook or on Twitch. Streaming live over on Twitch at Suck My Crocs, all one word, Crocs, C-R-O-C-S. Let's take a look here. Not saying any bad words. So we're going to go ahead and take a look in there. You can kind of see a lot more of the stuff that he's looking at. What he's kind of seeing here. So I'll make that a little bit bigger so y'all can see. These are what the drivers are seeing through their views. And again, go over to Suck My Crocs and take a look at this. I know we'll reach out to him and say, hey, we're trying to shout you out. But this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing. And he's saved. They see that estimated laps in the 5-6. This is exactly what the drivers are seeing as they're going through the race. Most of these guys have this special stuff up, tells them everything that's going on, what their estimated laps is, how they're saving. As yeah, just a really good example of what these drivers' inputs are going to be.
Yeah, James is talking about the onboard telemetry there in the race car, giving these drivers, just like he said, an idea, getting them close as to how their driver inputs are reflecting in the long ball, the long game here, and that is obviously fuel mileage. But now we were talking about Travis Juggles Rodriguez there for a moment. He's certainly in the play for the long game, but if you notice in that last frame before we switched to the 67 of Justin Horton, you saw Louis Clark starting to reel in the 7. Once he goes a lap down, that strategy pretty much goes away.
Well, you know, you think it might, but they're only at 30-second laps, just about 35. So if he does go a lap down and it takes him a lap or two to cycle, you know, that's going to help you. But you're right, it is going to be hard to overcome because they're also coming out on fresh tires. So here we are, lap 90 right now, 44 laps, maybe.
James, I'm getting a report that pit stops may be starting this time by. Cannot confirm that is correct, but I'm hearing multiple drivers may be coming down pit road in the next lap or so.
Yeah, this is that 44. This is that timeline where they can come in and make it if they've been saving to this point. So they're going to be running very similar. Lewis Clark coming in.
Look at James, the crew chief, on top of the pit box while broadcasting. hitting the numbers right on the dinger as we have multiple cars now on pit road. You got the 10 of Purcell, the 67 of Horton, the 57 of Clapper, and the 1 of Lilith Peters is down and away. So now we see Louis Clark. Lilith tried to sneak in on pit road. Louis did not fall for it. The 73 in his pit stall. No mistakes coming in. Clean entry. Gets stopped. Didn't have to put it in reverse. He's getting 4 tires. 2 Kansas Sunoco Racing Fuel, and he'll be back off as well, James.
As we're taking a look, talking to some folks in the hauler. So here's what we do. I'm just gonna head over to the hauler. Matt, go over to the hauler and let them know the broadcast is coming in, and then come back in and tell me when I have the green light. We'll go talk to race control.
Copy, 10-4.
Right now, while they're doing that, we're going to run to a Turn It Up segment. You can reach us. We'll be here, as always, Turn It Up. As we are back here, going to be heading into race control to talk to them. The job pretty easy, but we'll go ahead and make that happen for you guys. Give us one moment as we go away from the Turn It Up. Everybody pretty spread out right now, just kind of focusing on their own stuff and organizing the lap cars. Justin Harris is working on the 27, or Justin Horton working on the 27 of Cameron Harris on the inside. Cameron, one of those that came in lap 71, that short pit strategy, kind of hoping for a caution, but he's not gonna get one. As we head over to the purple hauler, Corey, race control here. You've got a pretty easy race right now so far.
Yeah, sure.
Well, go ahead then. Explain how it is not then with your sarcastic booty.
Well, right now Ruggles has a meatball, so as long as he don't spin out here.
Who does?
Travis Rodriguez is number 7.
Oh, he's coming in. There we go. Yeah, well, there you go. Well, he made it in, so we're good to go. Other than that, I suppose, Corey, the 98 laps of green flag racing, pretty easy day for us. Tell us about what you do in the booth for AARL and why you're around for this league here.
I yell at drivers and I tell them when they mess up.
There you go. Well, that's something.
There we go.
So you knew it was going to be a fuel battle coming into here. Do you think everybody can make it from here on out from what you're seeing?
Yes, everybody can make it.
Here we go. Anything else colorful to add?
Go Larry.
Go to Larry.
Yeah, I said go Larry. I want him to win.
Oh, go Larry.
Larry Gardner's in the 7 or the 20 machine out there. There he is, working on the bottom side of the 15 at David Hillbilly Hara.
He was gonna make. Yeah, he's doing. I really liked his strategy. Right now, but he had to get back on that cycle. Unfortunately, not gonna pay off. But the gap closing between Lilith and Lois Clark, only 7 seconds right now.
Yeah, that one there of Lilith Peters continues to close the gap right now. But James, still a long way to go. That feels like an eternity for the driver of that one machine, who has just been ever so slightly off the pace of that 73 machine of Clark. And every time they seem to almost pit on the same lap, even though she's tried to come down in stealth, take advantage of those Goodyear Eagles. The 73 hasn't fallen for it, and they're just clutch, executing both so well on pit road. That gap has been so tough to eat into for Lilith Peters, even though she's up 5 spots, still running in second place. That 73 has just been lights out. And once again, Louis Clark comes back in another car, no problem. Strong performance up front once again from that 73 machine.
Absolutely. So since we still got you here, Corey, and give me at least 2 sentences. What is it that you're looking for right now as you're watching this race as race control? What are you looking for? What are you keeping an eye on for these drivers?
Just checking out, see where the bigger groups are, and if somebody's wrecking loose or not.
And then what if you see a wreck? What happens if iRacing doesn't flow that flag? Are you going to let it play out, or how does that kind of work with this league?
iRacing doesn't throw their cautions. I throw all the cautions out here in this league.
There we go. Even better. Well, it was good talking with you, Corey. Appreciate you. Hopefully we'll talk with you later on when we get a show together.
Absolutely.
As right now, folks, it's just pretty spread out. Not too much going on. A little bit of lap traffic in front of Lewis Clark. That's what we're going to keep an eye on. Lewis Peters is, let's go ahead and run through the entire group there. That's what we're going to do. Lewis Clark in that first position. Looking gorgeous with that Jack Daniels 73 car. Going to be coming up on that lap traffic like I talked about. Lap traffic that is battling in their own right. So we'll keep an eye here. We'll run through the field. We'll be back. Lilith Peters there in second position, up 5 spots in an 8-race top 5 streak. I bet that's gone up in a minute. As Cameron Harris just put down the fastest lap of the race down there in 12th. That's not going to matter for much, but the first one to break into the 7s. As Justin
31.
Horton, 31-7. As Justin Horton is in 3rd. That's our Suck My Crocs guy. I love that. Just enough to try and get us banned on YouTube. As we have Kyle Purcell currently in 4th position. Evan Clapper, brought to you by the Clapper. They're in 5th. Peter, the 3-time winning defending Cup champion, here in 6th position. Patrick McQuaid in 7th. That Alpha Lion, you can head that out, McQuaid 10, Alpha Lion discount code. Get you some of that Alpha Lion. Reminds me of beaver milk. But that is a very obscure reference to the animal. Sean Purcell in 8th. We're going to skip right by that. Larry Garnes in 9th. Blues Race Design Series. Appreciate him. putting that league on his back. Adam Angerston. Toyota's looking good. Cameron Harris. At Coors Light 27. Rodney Uberpacker currently in 12th. As Cameron Harris just put down another fastest lap of the race. That's amazing. 31.73. We have Jeremy Flanagan of Kaiju Cat Motorsports. David Hara, unfortunately, pretty far back there. Nathan Christensen. And Juggles out there with the meatball flag. He had to go in and get himself some repairs made on that. So, back to the race here. Matt, I think Lewis just has to keep checking that box and keep making it happen. Not too much going on through the field. Everybody can make it, we've heard. So,
yeah, that was great call there to jump in with race control. Give you guys that have it locked in on the SRM YouTube channel a little different dynamic here in the broadcast. A lot of times it's a lot more than just us up here in the booth that really make this race come into fruition and help it fire on all cylinders. And certainly race control is a big part of that, especially as they're the ones calling the shots as far as throwing the caution flags. So certainly they are watching this race just as close as we are, if not closer to a certain degree. So that was really cool to get their perspective on the race and the duties that they have to handle over the course of this race. But getting back to what you said about the 73 of Lewis Clark, he really just has to go out there and just execute. Keep doing what he's been doing. Doesn't have to run daylights out in that race car. He can pretty much set it on cruise control. As you see him running 32.25s out there on the racetrack. That's a few tenths slower from where we've seen him at times. So he seems to be in that mode right now, knowing just how hard to run that race car to get to the end. Has plenty of real estate between himself and Lilith Peters, who is running right there just about the same lap times. But the problem is she's so far back. She's north of 7 seconds off the pace right now. Now you start to see that 73 setting the sights on that 00 in 8th position of Sean Purcell. That would put him a lap down once that 73 does advance past the 00 car. So Louis Clark doing exactly what he needs to do out there on the racetrack. I don't think anything is really going to jar him or break that confidence in that inside the helmet of that race car. The only big thing that could be the game changer in this race is once again going to be that caution flag. But these guys and girls in the series just so good. They got plenty of racing surface to work with. It would really take something to happen, I think, to throw a caution flag here.
yeah, something wild. It's the closest battle on the field. David Lurfano and Rodney Uberpacker battling for 12th. Everyone else pretty okay with their lot in life. As David on new tires is going to fly by. He's going to get a couple more positions out of that 4 race strategy. As well as Christensen on that one. He's one to look for. As he's going to have very high lap times here.
Yes, if Cliff was up here, as he would say, putting the sloppy rubber to use. They're getting work on that 4-stop strategy, certainly keeping the bacon fresh or keeping the sticky biscuits on that race car. It'll certainly help him eat and get as much as he certainly can, as he has the freshest tires on the track right now, once again in that 8 machine, but still outside the top 10 for right now anyhow. That's in 12th position. That's the 8 of David Larfano.
Absolutely. Now, folks, the best thing you can do right now during these last 19 laps, if you want to see more of your driver, if you're watching in the chat trying to see somebody specific, shout them out, cheer for them in the chat. We are live here, March 28th, 2023, not 2013, I wish, 2023. So hit that like button and then cheer on your driver in the chat. Believe it or not, it makes them go faster.
It does. It's kind of like the hidden turbo boost button or the nitrous boost out there on the racetrack. Something happens to some of these drivers. Once you start to feature them, they know that you're in the chat cheering them on. They find an extra gear in that race car, and we've seen it time and time again, haven't we, James?
Absolutely. I guarantee it. And I'll guarantee anybody anything. as we take a
Oh,
look
look
at
at
the
this.
10 of Kyle Purcell getting attacked by Evan Clapper. Same strategy now, maybe a little bit of pushing from the Clapper heading up on Kyle
Yeah.
Purcell. This is going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, this is always a great battle to watch. The 57 and the 10. The 57 utilizing the bottom, the 10 rolling, rocking the middle, the top line. But that's the part of this racetrack where it really comes into effect like it does at Auto Club Speedway. Hate to see that track go. Another old racing surface that I love now going to be decommissioned. When you rock the top like that, you get such a run, especially as you come through the 3 and 4 complex. But Kyle Purcell now firing back on the inside, looking to go towards the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to kind of squeeze the 57 up maybe just a little bit here as we're looking out the front nose of that 10 machine. I believe he's got him cleared if he came up that far. Can't tell for certain if we're looking out the front bumper here.
Yeah,
but the 5
around with our rotator cam on my end, you can see the 57. It's hard to clear on the bottom, but you got to get that run, and it's got to be out of turn number 4 because that angle is a little bit better. As we see side by side here, you can really get this run out of 4 that you're not going to get out of 2, and that's what we're going to see cleared and the pass completed there for the 10 of Kyle Purcell.
Yeah, that's for now, but I'm almost certain that Clapper is not going to back off. Oh, here, look at this. The 00 refusing to go a lap down. He's going to put some heat on the 73 of Clark, looking like Ryan Newman out there on the racetrack to try to make it impossible. And as these two are battling side by side, that may allow the 5 to come back into the picture of Rodney Uberpacker. But now the 73 clears, seems to get the job done. He's going to get a run, though, on the back of the 73 cars. He drive it down low, or does he maintain his position? No, he's finally going to back off and yield to the 73. But, James, you seen right there, the first time Louis Clark had some competition out there on the racetrack, look how much it slowed down his lap time, that lap, and allowed the 5 to kind of close back into the picture for a minute there along with the 20.
Absolutely, and you saw very good sportsmanship there by Sean. He had him in behind him. When you've got the leader behind you, you don't want to go a lap down. You don't know what's going to happen. You have every right to maintain that position. Once he gets past you, once he's in your front, you are not going to pass him unless he opens the door for you. Because you can pass him, but you're not going to wreck him for that spot. That's the big thing there. So big thing. Good job, Sean, in the 00 by battling him hard up until the point where the spot was given up, and then he held back and said, "All right, I'm not going to put the bumper to you or anything. That's not what I'm here for. Going to take that lucky dog position." And that's actually something that we can watch, a battle between Sean Purcell and Larry Garnes. This is the battle for the lucky dog position as it sits right now. So if a caution was to come out, this is where the lucky dog would come from.
Yeah, this is for the T-bone steak and roasted potatoes, if you will, as whoever is in front, if the caution was to come out. Currently, Purcell has it. The 20 of Garnes wants it. And that's why you see these two fighting so hard here. Because if the caution was to come out, one of these two drivers would still be on the lead lap when that field is re-racked and restacked. So virtually, they're fighting to stay in it to win it at this point of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. As let's take a look at this battle. Kyle Purcell, Evan Clapper, and Peter's trying to work his way in there. So with 10 laps to go, things are heating up a little bit.
Yeah, these drivers starting to realize, hey, time is running out, and this one is by the line this time. Here we go. Only 9 circuits left around this 1.5-mile racetrack. Here, did you see that? That's what you're talking about, getting all of the racetrack, using every inch of that width out there, and just comes up and just touches the wall ever so slightly. That's not really going to hurt the composite body on this next-gen race car. Nowhere near the effect it has on the Gen 6 car and other cars that we've had in the past. But you can see that's just how bad Kyle wants that spot out there on the racetrack, knowing how important it is to get that lucky dog if they get a late race caution.
Absolutely. As 14 gets decided, and then Sean Purcell has been passed by Larry Garnes. Let's see, Patrick McQuaid, the next man up to try and get passed by Louis Clark, which I believe if we go to the gearbox, yep, that little black dot back there, that is going to be Louis Clark. So he's got a little bit of a gap up to Peter, so he will be the lucky dog, but Larry's just hoping, hey, don't catch him. Don't catch him, stay back, and then let's get a caution so I can get back in this thing. As right now, not many drivers together to make that happen.
Yeah, I guarantee you right now, just like you said, Larry Garnes probably trying to dial up some radio magic to get in touch with the 73 across the pond, cut him a deal saying, hey, do not pass that 77 car. You're absolutely right there, James. Looking at now the 57 of Evan Clapper, who finds himself still inside the top 5. What a strong run for this kid here right now. Currently in 4th position, up 2 spots where he started. Having a really solid race, all phases right now. Kyle Purcell inside the top 5 still. Falling back just a couple spots as I believe he started this race in P2. He did. So, again, solid run for that 10 car as well. As we've continued to be caution-free here, James. Winding down to the closing laps here from Kentucky.
Absolutely. As 5 laps to go now. Go ahead and tell us. We'll just keep an eye on this battle right here. Oh, Peter Throw, he's kind of working with the lap car. Let's see how this is going to solve and work itself out. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, that'd be interesting there if Theriault can work there with the 27 to get up there and possibly challenge the 10 of Kyle Purcell, and then just ahead of Purcell you have Clapper, and it looks to be working here. Yeah, it's definitely Cameron Harris and the 28 of Theriault seem to be running down the 10, and the 27 is there right on the back bumper, getting the arrow push there, a little extra speed burst there with those 2 cars drafted so well, and now that the 27's caught the back of the 10, now you see Theriault starting to fall back. So how about that from a buddy, gifting him there. Now the 27 is going to turn it down low to the inside. It's going to be a drag race down the backstretch.
Absolutely.
Motoring down low, taking the spot. Virtually high-fiving the driver in that 28 car. James, you couldn't have called it better. Or high-fiving the driver of that car.
That's the 27. That's Cameron Harris, who last came in lap 98. But you know what? We promised. We're shouting it out. Look how fast the 77 of Patrick McQuaid is going. Now that you guys have cheered him on, let's take a look at that Alpha Lion 77. A little bit more screen time as everyone's shouting him out. Thank you in the chat. Be sure also hit that like button and all that good stuff. That's not for us. We don't make a dime off that. What that's for is for the YouTube algorithm to know that people are watching it. That's why we also encourage you guys to chat as much as possible. Let us know where you're from. I don't care what you say. Just I'll read it. I do care about it. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter what you say. We see it and we enjoy it. The white flag is out there. So Louis Clark now just gets by and laps McQuaid. As what a good transition here. As Lewis is going to be, barring something unfortunate like a Kyle Larson blowout, 9-second lead on Lil Peters, who has an 8-second lead back to Justin Horton. Give you 2 guesses who our winner is going to be. First one doesn't count. As Louis Clark going to come out of turn number 4, unchallenged for the majority of this race. Give it to Louis Clark.
Yeah, Louis Clark from across the pond comes back to AARL, a different car number once again. Had it on churn and burn the entire race. He's going to get the win. And here you go, the 28 and the 10, giving each other the business here, coming to the line. It's going to be the Purifier, Kyle Purcell, who's going to hold on to that 5th place position. Theriault is going to come in 6th. But James, we went caution-free, flag-to-flag coverage here on SRM, watching you go up on top of the box, working as the crew chief. We're right on point with those numbers, but the 73 with the flex here tonight, too strong for Lilith Peters to overcome. And once again, the 73 is going to be in victory lane here from the state of Kentucky as he dominates here in prime time across this 1.5-mile oval.
Absolutely.
Burn it down, man. There you go. Who knows? Maybe he's sipping on some JD, celebrating there at home.
Absolutely.
Man, that guy can rip some donuts.
Yeah, he can there. As probably gonna have to get used to it based on what I just saw. So let's go ahead and get some of these drivers in here. Lewis Clark, I got him. There we go. We got our leader, Lewis Clark. Congratulations, man. Great run. You had it from start to finish. What's the one phrase you were saying the whole last half of that race?
Oh, I don't really know.
The one thing you weren't hoping for. There we go. The one thing you hoped would happen.
As long as there weren't a caution, I really thought that there could be on the last couple of laps. Yeah, no, it was a really good race. We really enjoyed that. I was very surprised it didn't have any cautions, so everyone was fuel saving. But yeah, man, we didn't want the caution at the end. We thankfully didn't get it, so it was all good. We really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I mean, you looked like you enjoyed it. Was fuel ever a factor? I know I was calling it up in the booth, pretty wrong, I might add, but I was calling that it was going to be very, very tight. How close was it there at the end?
I had 2 laps to spare. Other people were sputtering already, so other people are quite tight on fuel. There was some fuel saving going on. I was fuel saving on the second stint just to get an extra lap, just to be good, just in case we had a green-white checker. The first stint we could have went like another 2 laps, but I had to pit early just to cover Lilith as she when she pitted. But yeah, fuel was a big concern for others.
Absolutely. So, Lewis, tell us just, I know you got Jack Daniels on the car, but unless you're rolling like that, tell us who gets it done for you, who helps you to get in victory lane today at Kentucky.
Yeah, I promise I am sober for this race. No drink is on, but no, the Hillbilly Mayhem collaboration, man, couldn't do it without these guys. We help each other, videos, track guides, etc. We're all learning from each other. Best team out here for me personally. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Lewis, there's no law against virtual drinking and driving, and if you can finish 9 seconds ahead of second place drunk, I'm good with it. You don't got to lie.
Was it 9 seconds? Was it?
Yeah, yeah, it's 9:05. But anyways, just congratulations on the dominating win, and I'm sure they'll be talking to you next week as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, once again, at a different car, no problem. No one circles the wagons like the 73 of Louis Clark. What a win for that man.
Absolutely. But, second place isn't bad as well, especially able to come up 5 positions. Matt, I believe you have Lilith Peters in the booth.
Lilith Peters, Matt Metler, and James up in the SRM booth. You got us.
Yeah, I got you. Hi.
Hey, we meet again up here in the booth. Lilith, what a strong run again tonight. I could tell up here in the booth, you were doing everything you possibly could to try to outsmart the 73 of Lewis Clark. I mean, your lap times were just about mirroring each other at times throughout the course of this race. Walk me through it from your perspective. Did you anticipate going flag to flag caution free tonight?
Not at all, but it's a pleasant surprise, and I'll take it.
Yeah, certainly. How close were you on fuel there coming down to the checkered flag?
I had about half of a lap left, just enough.
Okay, so you were tighter on fuel than the 73. Obviously, you were one that didn't want to see a late race caution flag because green white checkered would have forced you down pit road, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I was doing the math, and I knew the 3 stop wasn't going to work, so I didn't have anything for Louis regardless. I'll just take my second.
Hey, still strong, solid run. Again, Lilith, before we cut you loose here tonight, who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done on the one?
I'd like to thank the primary sponsor on my car, Luna Steak Sauce. You get that at foxfirefoods.com, and my whole team did good today. Really, me in second, Justin in third, and Evan in fourth, I think. Good Kaiju Cat showing.
Yeah, right there. All yeah, I mean, second, third, and fourth, all by your respective teammates out there in the field tonight. There she is, running strong in prime time. Once again, that's the driver of the one, getting it done in Kentucky. She comes home second, Lilith Peters.
Later, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Lilith. We appreciate you.
So next, we're going to bring in our third place finisher for the night, the 67 Chevrolet, Justin Horton. Justin, I'm going to tell you right now, we stepped in a little bit and watched your broadcast over on Twitch here to get the viewers a little bit of different view. What were you seeing as far as fuel and the strategy playing out between the team?
Well, thank you guys so much for coming by the broadcast to get a view. And my teammate Lilith gave us the strategy. We were going to go 45 and 90, make it a 2-stop race. It was an amazing strategy. It worked out massively in our favor. And I was able to save tires so well that I was able to catch a massive amount of drivers in the long run of the race. It worked out really well, and the amount of practice I got and her kind of pushing me to make sure I got it, it was massive for this race. The strategy, how I was choosing to drive the track worked out massively, and I'm so happy that I was able to get a top 3.
Absolutely. And I had I had the stream going in my ear as well. So I was hearing kind of a little bit of the team communication there. The last pass that happened for you to get that P3 was lap 96. What were you hoping? Yeah, I heard you saying you wanted a caution there at the end. Did I hear that right?
Oh, I wanted no caution. For me, I knew when it came to Louis and Lilith that I wasn't going to be able to pass them, the amount of talent between them. There's a big gap for me this season. Consistency was going to be my main thing. You always want to go for wins. You want to be able to do that burnout and celebrate. But the first thing for me was I needed to work on consistency. I needed to be able to stay in the top 10, get top 5s, get top 3s. I needed to push myself to be consistent and put myself in positions for good finishes. And now the next thing I need to do is start pushing myself for wins. I knew if we had a caution come out late, if people like Evan, Kyle, Peter, McQuaid, everyone behind me had fresh tires, they were going to push really aggressively, and they're really great on short runs. For me, I was doing amazing in the long runs. My tires were massively saved. The amount of practice I got into doing that really helped. And I knew if we kept it green, once I noticed the distance between me and Evan and Kyle starting to separate, I knew I had saved perfectly. And that as long as no caution came out, I was going to finish in the top 3. And I'd be super happy with that with the finishes I've had this season.
Absolutely. Hey, third place, you still get to talk to us, and it's a great finish. There's a lot of us, and that it takes a lot of maturity to come in here and know that, hey, I'm not going to compete with them at this track. No one ever does win all the tracks, so just getting that consistency, I feel that as a fellow driver there. But Justin, who you got on the car? Who you want to shout out for this race today?
I want to shoot out Luna Steak Sauce, sold by Foxfire Foods. Thank them so much for sponsoring our team and all the work they put into being on the car. It means a lot. I have to thank Kaiju Cat Motorsports. I got to thank Jeremy Flanagan. I got to thank Lilith Peters. for mentoring me and helping me get better as a racer, helping me go from being more of a back marker to figuring out what I need to do to succeed more, which eventually is going to lean into me fighting for more wins. But you got to be consistent and up in the field to be able to get wins. I got to thank Evan Clapper. I got to thank all the people towards the end of the race and everyone that kept it clean, the no cautions. I got to thank Kyle Purcell for racing me really clean. It was just a really great race between everyone out here. Super glad for my support system and everything here. It means a lot to have the team I have. And then thank you guys so much for being out here in the booth.
Well, we appreciate you as well, and good luck. Hopefully, we talk to you again next week.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Can't wait for the Glen. Not a good road racer, but gonna get a lot of practice, and I'm gonna try to go out there and do my best for the first playoff race.
There you go. Playoffs start next week. Take note, everybody. So, Matt, we're going to go ahead and let you get to it as we head to our scenic camera here. Let everything get out of the way. Go ahead and run through our results here for the race, and we will listen to you here.
All right, I'm going to run through the results, but you know what? I'm going to give Lilith Peters a shout out too, because she's actually helped me in her off time, and I am absolutely a better driver in this next gen car because of her. So thank you, Lilith. I appreciate you. Here are the final results here from Kentucky. Your winner tonight from across the pond in the 73 machine this time, that ZL1 Camaro, that is Louis Clark. In second, a strong runner-up finish, that is the one of Lilith Peters. Coming home third place tonight, the final podium spot, that's the 67 of Justin Horton. In fourth, Evan Clapper. In fifth, rounding out your top 5 to 10, the Purifier, Kyle Purcell. In sixth, in the Ford, Peter Tirio. In seventh, wanted a little more, but into the top 10 at the end. That is the 77 of Lightning McQuaid. Big thanks to everybody in the chat, shouting him on, cheering him on throughout the course of this race. In eighth, the 20, going for the long game early. That's Larry Garnes. In ninth, the other Purcell, Sean Purcell, having a great run inside the top 10. In 10th, that's going to be the 9 of Adam Angerstein. In 11th, that's the 27, the Silver Bullet of Cameron Harris. In 12th, David Larfano in the 8 car. Getting back to the Toyotas, that's going to be the 5 of Rodney Uberpacker in 13th. 14th, that's going to be Nathan Christensen. In 15th, running out your top 15, that is the 72 of Jeremy Flanagan. Coming home 16th in the 7, Travis Juggles Rodriguez. And rounding out your field tonight, having the extended pit stop early, that's going to be the 15 of David Hillbilly Herrick.
Yeah, and we appreciate everyone that's watching. Appreciate you, Matt, for letting me come in here. It's been an absolute blast covering All-American Racing League for you. And as always, we want to shout out and appreciate you learning with us as we're trying new things here at Sim Racing Media. But Matt, it's been fun. Same time next week. I hear we're going to be at the Glen. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, Watkins Glen, the super speedway of road courses from upstate New York. It's the playoffs, baby. So you think it's been high octane so far? Wait until we get to the Glen, because that's when this series really starts. It's playoff time. I can't believe we're there already. So guys at home, if you're not a part of the SRM family, take this time, smash the like button, ring the bell, get that notification to make sure you're right back here Tuesday night when we go playoff racing from Watkins Glen next week.
Absolutely. And as always, folks, we'll talk to you next week.